Who am I to tell you what to do? People often say that, well, what's a skinny guy doing telling me what to do? How can this skinny guy help a woman to lose weight? What does he know about the whole thing? Well, my background was I was a builder, and that really doesn't help. The part of being a builder that has helped me over the years is being methodical, working through the process step by step. I would go from design to costing out a job to overseeing the job and working through every phase. Now, in about 1985, after meeting my good wife, who's a doctor, I decided to study naturopathy. I'd always had an interest in that kind of thing. I would see naturopaths and chiropractors. That was my preference for my well-being. So I did a 3-year course and worked part-time for those 3 years. And it was challenging and interesting and fun and a really exciting time. On my completion, I had a diploma of naturopathy. In those days, you couldn't get a degree course. It just didn't exist. This is a few decades ago. But immediately I did postgraduate studies in nutrition with Dr. Robert Buist. I also did postgraduate studies in herbal medicine with Dennis Stewart, arguably the leading herbal medical specialist in Australia, probably ever. And then a few years later, I did the Australian College of Natural Medicine medical nutritional training. Now, I did this, it's usually only open to doctors, but as a lowly naturopath attending with a doctor, I was allowed through the hallowed doors. And again, it was a great course and I learned a lot from it. And over the years, I've read countless books, ridiculous numbers of books on the topic. But where I've really learnt is with clients. And because I've been around a long time, I've seen a lot of phases. Now, I'm very disparaging of the low-calorie diet ideas that are still spread these days. Eat less, exercise more. And it just doesn't work. Why? Because I've been there, I've done that, I've worked with countless clients, and they struggled. Anybody who has to be hungry most of the time will never succeed in any weight loss program or any wellness program. It will just fail. Human beings are not good at doing this. Sure, some people can fast for a while, they're really hardy types, but most people will not go on with this. And I saw it fail. Along the way, I embraced the 5-2 fast diet, and you can Google that. I still use that for some clients, and sometimes I'll use that even within our current system of the Vibrant Health Way. If someone plateaus, we might go briefly into what's called intermittent fasting to shift things along again. What happened some time ago was a shift, and the shift started with Dr. Atkins, the Atkins diet. I'm sure you all know about that. Now, when it first came out, I wasn't very comfortable with it. It didn't make sense. Eat meat, eat fat, lose weight. It doesn't make sense because eat less, exercise more seems logical. The trouble is, it doesn't work. Over time, the Atkins diet proved to be quite successful, but again, people had trouble sticking with it. One lady who came to visit us with bags full of meat, she says, if I see another piece of meat or bacon, I'll just scream. I can't keep eating like this. Now, to dispel a myth, there's a popular myth out there which is circulated in certain circles that Dr. Atkins died of a heart attack because of all the meat. No, he didn't. He fell on the ice and fractured his skull and died as a consequence. So, if you like, the Atkins diet was sort of up one end of the scale, out there somewhere with the paleo diet. And again, what we're doing is not the paleo. I like my vegetables far too much to go quite down that end. Now, there is value in the paleo, so I'm not discounting it at all. But I think there's better ways of doing things. And again, it's horses for courses. Some people I coach, I will shift them more in that direction if need be. But in order to get someone started, it's an awful big leap to go from, what we call the standard American diet or the standard Australian diet known as SAD into something like the paleo. So we make these transitions, and over the years I just read so many books about this and listened to hundreds of hours of audio and really dived in deep to understand why this works. And I used myself as a guinea pig, and I got outstanding results, and I continue to do so. And I get wonderful feedback from clients who do this process. The Vibrant Health Way is a very successful way to live well, to age well, to have less pain, to feel better, to lose weight, all of these things. And so that's where we're up to at the moment. And basically we don't eat sugar, we don't eat grains, we don't eat processed foods, but we embrace a lot of healthy eating. And the other thing we don't do is we don't go hungry, because there is no value in being hungry. As you know, if you're planning to go out for a big slap-up meal, what would you do to prepare? Well, you mightn't eat that day, because going hungry makes you hungry. That's right. So it's easy to do. This is a good process. It's scientifically validated. There are researchers and clinicians all around the world working with this. It is not mainstream as yet, because mainstream is slow to change. Mainstream is slow to adapt and adopt new ways of thinking. And I'm not going to wait 20 years before I see this kind of eating promoted in medical journals. And because I've been reading medical journals since the early 80s, I've seen how slow it is for mainstream to adopt a simple thing like eating yogurt. When I started naturopathic college, we talked about the gut bacteria, what we call now the gut biome, and leaky gut syndrome, and all these things that was just literally hippie talk. Now it's sliding into the mainstream. And so years later in medical journals, they were talking about eating yogurt. They weren't quite prepared to say we need to take probiotics at that stage, but now that's fairly well understood as well. But even that is just the tip of the iceberg of the effect of wellness can have on the gut. One of the things I coach around is improving the gut biome. But that's a fairly individual thing. So that's who I am, that's my background. I will be bringing programs in here. I have a program that will develop called Kicking On. And it's really comes out of my 45 years background in martial arts, something I'm absolutely passionate about. And what I've learned through training in Korean and Chinese, Japanese, Russian, even Spanish martial arts, that there are many, many ways to move your body. And there are many ways to make a body mobile, agile, fit, and strong without having to go to a gym, without having to go crazy, without having to work up a massive sweat. Do you know why we work up a sweat when we go to the gym? Because we get hot. That's the only reason. We know that exercise is not an effective way to lose weight, but exercise is critical for your well-being. But that's another story. Anyway, that's me. That's where I'm up to at the moment. Decades of working with clients, of going through different phases. And I have no doubt that 10 years from now, what I'm doing will have been modified, because we are on a continuing learning journey about how the body works. And the biochemists of this world are still discovering. But right here, right now, we know certain things. If we leave out all the junk, crappy foods in our diet that are based around sugar and industrially processed oils, and we embrace good, healthy vegetables, a small amount of fruit, and good quality protein, we can be healthy. And that's what it's about. We can age well. So I wish you vibrant health. Thank you. I'm Ian Newton.